Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Wednesday, the 28th. I'll start right away because this is going to be pre-recorded. And if you don't catch this live, this will be left on YouTube. So if you're just joining tomorrow or the next day, this way you don't have to wait around for me to go like, I'll wait a few minutes for people to join. This way, I'll start right away. And if you miss something, you can just go back to the beginning. So today, we're going to talk about a few really interesting topics that are really pertinent today. LLM SEO, what is that? It's the future of SEO. It's happening now. Google is changing everything. ChatGPT is changing how people discover websites. So it's a hot topic, maybe the hottest topic in digital marketing today. We're going to start with that. Then we're going to talk about vibe coding and creating apps and websites in like 1 hour with Replit and services like that. Then we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, but also how to create your own cryptocurrency, which is kind of a project that I'm doing now, which is interesting. And then actually a friend of mine has a website that he needs help with in regards to SEO. So he might actually jump on in the second hour of this call, and he might share his website, and we're actually going to go through and audit his website so that you can see how he can get traffic for his website. And we'll do this all live. And not only that, we're not going to do the old SEO from like 2024. We're going to do the new SEO. Like, how do you get ChatGPT to recommend you when people ask ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, what is the best business for this and that? So the ChatGPT replies, hey, this guy, go to this guy's website. Something like that is what we'll do, which is like, this is the latest topic. Everybody's talking about it because ChatGPT has been taking search share away from Google. And if you haven't seen, Google came out with something really new. They released it to, I believe, not North American, but American audiences only. And this is where like you can make Google look like ChatGPT, but a little bit better in regards to search. So like Google is going to look like ChatGPT very soon. We're going to look at that. I am doing this on YouTube live, which I usually do Zoom calls. So I kind of know how Zoom works well. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. I haven't actually tried it because I'm doing this from a webcam. I probably can. So whatever I can, I'll show you live so that you can see how to make Google look like ChatGPT and how to actually get Google recommend your business in their AI answers next to like other billion-dollar companies. So with that, let's get started. Let me explain what this LLM SEO thing is and why it's so interesting. Because, well, AI has been taking over since 2022. It's no secret. But like, if you're, like, imagine you're playing Super Mario and you like learn to jump and you jump over the first monsters. That is people thinking, here's how to do SEO with AI. I'm gonna write 1,000 blog posts in 5 minutes, right? So this is like level one of Mario. Everybody understands that. Everybody knows that. It's impossible to manage. How do you check quality? There's actually a lot of inherent problems with it. In any case, that's level one. So that, just getting AI to write your content, that's level one. The next level is, how do you get AI? Like, for example, let's say I'm I'm in the sphere of business planning, entrepreneurship, digital marketing. When other thousands of people, marketers, ask ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, can you write me a marketing article? Or can you tell me who's the best expert in this? How do you get ChatGPT to tell them that it's you, to quote you, so that in all of their websites, which are going to be written by AI, you are referenced, or your business is referenced? That's the boss level of, if you play Super Mario and like the other marketers are like, ding, 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 I just learned to jump. And you're like, hey, I'm getting all these marketers to have AI write content for them that promotes my business. So this is the power of it, right? It's like, yeah, you're getting AI to promote you, but AI is going to create all this content that's going to be on the web that's actually also going to promote you. Really next level. So let me explain what's involved. Luckily, it's actually not technical. In the past, SEO used to be annoying because it was like very technical. Like you'd have to know a lot of things, and even when things weren't technical, they were very tedious and time consuming. If you remember back in the day, like link building, and a lot of people just quit SEO at the moment of link building. Like, what? I have to do outreach. How do I get other people? What is a link? How do I get a backlink? it's not rocket science, but a lot of people kind of got stumped by it, which it wasn't hard, but now it's even easier because now what Google really wants is kind of twofold. Everything it's ever wanted before, like you have to have a good website that loads quickly, that is readable. Those things, they don't go away. They're still requirements, because even good content that takes forever to load is actually bad content because nobody can get to it. But provided that everything loads fine and your website is still fast, the next requirement from Google is that you have authority, because it doesn't want, when I say Google, let's say all the actual, now it's all the AIs, like ChatGPT the same, Claude the same, all the AI, let's call them the AI bros, like everybody, every AI service that's popped up. Uh, and they want to show quality answers and credible answers to the people using them. And so you have to build that. Now, if you have authority, let's say you have uh, a million people who follow you or something, right? Which is almost nobody. But if you have that, it's relatively easy because it already crawled the web. It knows a lot about you already. The tweaks are minor. But how do you do this if you have, no email list, no big following, no nothing? Starting out, maybe you just finished university and it's like your first gig, and you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to get authority? The way to get authority is you have to have unique, interesting ideas so that your content isn't cookie cutter. Because if your content is cookie cutter, then AI might as well have written it, because it's going to basically regurgitate everything else that's online out there. And so who cares about this thousandth blog post about, some commoditized topic that's already been discussed and rediscussed? That's what you don't want to do. What you want is to have unique ideas so that your content can be interesting and unique, so that you can make it quotable, and AI can pull takeaways and blurbs and ideas from your content, your original content. And it doesn't matter if you just graduated university, you can try to have some original ideas. You can have not just original ideas, but like original takes on things. For example, just to target AI, I created a super sale, like a super sale that doesn't exist anywhere online. Um, so that's unique. And then when I asked AI, I was like, hey, what is the best sale on this thing at the moment? And the answer was me. So something like that really, really works. Now, by the way, um, the chat is disconnected for some reason. I'm going to try to see if we can say, if you can, because that's also a Q&A session. If anyone has questions, by the way, and this session is for my Udemy students and also for followers on YouTube. If anyone has questions, Aaron says, hi, Aaron, how are you? Yeah, if anyone has questions, whether you've been following on YouTube or Udemy, post them in the chat. I'll interrupt what I'm talking about. I have an agenda of what I want to talk about, like the things that I'm working on, things that I think are super cool, that I think people will be interested in, things that people actually can take away for their own every day. I'll talk about that as much as possible, like this LLM SEO, which is really like a tidal wave. 3 months ago, you heard nothing about it. Now you're hearing about it all the time. At least maybe it's just me. But even today, like Google's CEO was talking about it, and we'll talk about what he said anyway. But if you have questions, hey Mohammed, I see you in the chat. Hello. If you do have questions, and you're working on anything, feel welcome to post them in the chat. I'll read and I'll try to reply to the best of my ability, and then we'll resume whatever I'm going to talk about. But as long as I don't see too many questions, I'll just keep talking about what I had planned. So yeah, so this LLM SEO, right? So you want to be authoritative as much as possible. Create original content, and that Google has always had a thing like create original content, but now more than ever, like really original. Original doesn't just mean like a new thing that you didn't plagiarize. Today it means new ideas, and niche, narrow focus, so that even if you are new in some field, you can quickly gain authority in Google's eyes or in ChatGPT's eyes by saying interesting things within a narrow subject matter, so that you can start becoming an authority. This is a great thing to do because, yeah, of course, in any field there are giant experts and really, well-known people. But when you go niche down in any field, it's relatively easy to do this LLM optimization so that AI can sometimes recommend you instead of your competitors. The other thing you really, really, really want to do with AI is when you write content, you want to write in more detail. Like I tested the Google AI the other day, and I tested it like, what's the cheapest haircut place in a certain town? And it pulled information from like little parts of the web. And it really found me detail. So the more detail, like let's say if you're a barbershop owner, you want to write the prices, you want to write, every little thing, the type of hairstyles, how many people work there, a lot, because that will be the foundation for the answers that ChatGPT and Google AI will use. The more detail that you have in your content that you write, the more detail, the more AI can pull and reference your business. So yeah, very often now I see, not all the time to my dismay, but very often when I test it, sometimes I'm even surprised because I ask something from AI and it pulls like, hey, here's 4 sources: some billion-dollar company, some other billion-dollar company, some other billion-dollar company, and like me next to them. So I'm like, wow, the LLM SEO is kind of working. And that's what you want to do: really detailed, very original and very detailed content on a subject matter. That's how you get AI and ChatGPT and even Google AI to put answers and credit you. Uh, I see some comments. Living and lifestyle. That's a long name of Citrus County, Florida. Good advice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me quickly read Mohammed's comment. I want to know about if I don't have expensive AI tools, what tools should I use to write a blog post? Blog post. Okay, that's a good question. Use page tools. I use. It's hard offhand because sometimes I forget the names of them, and I'm like a like older person, like, what was that name of that thing? But because what is really happening now, because there is a tool that I really like and I really recommend, but I actually forgot. I will remember and I will put it in the chat. But for now, that name is escaping me. For different SEO, you need different tools. So like to write content, you need certain tools. To check whether your content is good, is targeting the, well optimized, you need a different kind of a tool. And then you don't need any tool to do this LLM SEO, which is to get ChatGPT to promote you instead of your competitors, or even to mention you, because it sounds, even if you haven't thought about it, it sounds like it's not even feasible. Like, how do you get ChatGPT to mention me, like people, like to others? People don't really think in those terms very much, but it's like a real thing. And this is going to be a tidal wave, so it's really good to get on top of this. So if you're new, I see we have a few people in the chat. I have a few predefined topics that I'm going to try to cover. You can all this will be left. So if you missed anything about LLM SEO, like which is basically a fancy term for how to get AI to promote you, you can go to the beginning of this video. So just so I'm not too repetitive, I'll take questions on anything: digital marketing, entrepreneurship, cryptocurrency, AI, any kind of thing. So it is bothering me that I forget the name of that tool that I used. It's in a bunch of my courses that are SEO related, because I was really blown away by the results, because there was some lucrative, profitable keywords that I was targeting like for years, and it was always competitive, and I was struggling. I was always like on the first page, but never like number one all the time. Just sometimes number one, sometimes number two, number three, number four. And like, why am I falling? And then I used this tool, onpage.ai, onpage.ai. I'll paste it here. I wish they paid me to sponsor. They sponsored me because I promote them a lot, but I actually reached out to them and I say, hey, sponsor me. I'm promoting you a lot for free. And they said, no, we're not looking to do that. But I am a user of their software, and I did want them to sponsor me, but they didn't. in any case, this tool, if you go under pricing, is super expensive, like because it's for enterprise, and it's like thousands of dollars a month. Now, if you scroll, there is one option for consumers, which is like 129 a month or something like that. So it's still pricey, but it's not thousands. But the reason it's so expensive is because, according to the guy who's the founder, because I'm a little bit friendly with him, uh, he buys data and APIs right from Google, and that tool literally was looking at my pages and telling me, hey, here are the keywords you need to be using, here's more context about this page needs, here's more. And I would adjust exactly what the tool was telling me, and then like within weeks I would see a lift in rankings, and obviously with that sales, and I was like, wow, this tool is amazing. So I it always could be a correlation kind of a thing, but for years I was trying different SEO things, it wasn't working, and then that tool really did help. So that tool is good, but the thing that we're talking about now is LLM SEO, which luckily you need no tool for that. But have maybe people can post in the chat, have you been using like there's this old traditional blue links from Google, which I believe could be going away like anytime now, because Google has already pushed it down. There's the AI answers, but above the AI, like not even above, but like there's going to be a new thing that Google is just releasing now, and it's only like available for a few people. Well, it's available in North America, but it's like you have to click to find it. It's kind of like testing, but it just looks like ChatGPT. Instead of Google, it looks like ChatGPT on Google, and I wonder if that's how Google is going to end up looking like. The results in that thing are really good because Google has the best parsing and like best analysis of what's on the web, because sometimes you would ask ChatGPT about what's current and ChatGPT is not as good, and it kind of like fakes that it's good. If you ask, like I asked it, what do you think of this page, and I posted a URL, and it gave me an answer that was like about content that was on that page only 6 months ago but not now. So it kind of was bullshitting. But Google is like super on top of anything search related, which is obviously every single possible page on the internet, almost. Anyway, so let me see. I'm gonna maybe try to do this. There's an option to share screen, but I don't know if it's gonna be too boring. Let me share screen. Let me see how this is gonna work out. So Google AI mode. Let me see how. Let's try Google AI mode together. I'll show you how it's gonna work. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. Share screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. So this is Google AI mode. This is not Google, but it's only available for people, I think, either in North America or America. And you click on this little icon and they say introducing the AI mode experiment. You go learn more and try AI mode, like a lot of clicks. And now it looks like ChatGPT. So like, who's the most handsome YouTuber? No, that's not a good question. But who will, whatever. You can ask it whatever you want, but essentially it's same look and feel as ChatGPT, same usability, um, but the answers that related to like finding stuff on the web were way on current stuff was way better than ChatGPT. I haven't tested it too deeply because this literally, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I believe, or I don't know, or yesterday, this was released. So let me stop sharing. So that is totally new. I haven't played with it too much, but people have been complaining that Google is basically keeping all the usability on Google instead of what it was supposed to do is send people traffic. So if you have a website, people are like, well, if people are getting their answers, and by the way, Google is getting the data from our websites, right? From everything online, but it's not sending the traffic because it's giving the answer to consumers right on Google or on whatever that thing is. And so people are really up in arms and complaining like, hey, I'm ranking #1, but my Google traffic is decreasing. Like Google is stealing our information from our website, using it, not sending us the traffic. And so today the CEO of Google came out and he said, well, no, actually the traffic number is decreasing, but the quality is increasing, because by the time people get to your website, they have learned a lot more about the subject matter, and then they really are far further down the sales funnel, something like that. And I think I kind of agree, like, it's not about the numbers, it's about the quality of um, the traffic and how engaged they are. And if your content is thin and can be answered in one answer, like one little, then actually there's no need to click on the website. But if your content has more, like if you're selling something, well, okay, you have people will eventually have to come to your website, so you're not going to really lose those people. So I think it's a little overblown that Google is stealing traffic. It is, but like that a lot of that traffic is not even wasn't buying traffic anyway. Speaking of buying traffic, there's another thing that's developing in the AI world, and the agents, right? So soon, I believe that same Google AI interface, you'll be able to not just say like, hey, what is the best price for um, tickets for some, the example I read from Google was like, what's the best seat for, buying at some baseball game or something, right? So, but instead of an answer, it will actually go further for you. It will start doing the work. It will look at all the websites. It will like give you a summary of all the websites and present you the best options, and and say, would you like me to buy this? Would you like me to buy that? So it's almost like an assistant working for you, which is the next step of AI. Not just answers, not like the blue links, but actually doing work for you. So that's actually, I think, coming very soon, and maybe also to other AI platforms as well, not just like question answer, have a conversation, but also next step. The is the term for this agentic AI, essentially having AI be like an agent, an assistant, which is really an interesting transition to the next topic I wanted to talk about, is that you can make your own AI agent on your own, because you can use these no code software, like maybe you've heard of Replit or Base 44, where you basically tell it, I want to make a mobile app about this thing. And it will literally make a mobile app about that thing in 5 minutes, or sometimes 10 minutes, because there's like a lot of processing. Um, and then you're like, whoa, I have an app. Like I literally made 2 days ago, I made my own website. I had a project that I'm experimenting with. I'm in the process of planning it out. I'm in the process of planning my own cryptocurrency that I'm going to launch. I'm not 100% sold that I'm going to totally launch it, because I'm kind of planning the economics of it. It's technically today easy to launch a cryptocurrency. The technical part is not a challenge. The challenge is to get the economics right, and adoption, and real world adoption, so that it actually becomes something valuable and people use. So the planning for that is a little bit extensive, and part of it is like, you got to put up your website so that people know about your cryptocurrency. You can share information to investors. Everything's transparent. And in the past, building a website was a horrible experience. Either you can like, click on WordPress, which is not horrible, but like it would be, kind of annoying to build a WordPress website, or you had to hire a freelancer. Today, the website get built in like 5 or 10 minutes. Then I told AI, hey, I need to change this. I need to change that. I need to change this. Every change took like 3 minutes, and is no coding. No code. It's like there's a term for it now, vibe coding. You'll hear a ton about this thing, vibe coding, because you can make any software, which really segues to interesting things, because you can make your own AI agent. So, like as an example, one of the things I haven't played around with that I'm planning, this is like next week or in 2 weeks, I'm gonna probably get on one of these calls and share my results. But so you can make your own agent. So if I end up launching this cryptocurrency, I'm going to create my own software agent that will go out and reach out to potential investors, or potential people like influencers who might promote this cryptocurrency to a certain audience. It's a cryptocurrency for the artsy community, because I'm like artsy and creative entrepreneurial community, because I've been a part of that for the last like 20 years, either starting my own businesses or creating content online, or I create my own music. So it's like I do a lot of this. And so I've kind of been in that for a long time, and I understand how stressful it is to start projects, start businesses, be creative without funds, with under financial stress. So I'm trying to create a project that helps people fundraise. And I'm trying to do that through cryptocurrency because obviously it avoids transaction fees and things like that. Um, by the way, oh, Dante is here. Dante joined last time. Yeah, Dante, good evening. Um, what did I use to create the website? Good question. I used Replit. I'll post a link. Replit.com. Basically, there's a free option in Replit, but if you want to make a live website, the free option is just not enough. So, but the option that was good enough was like $25 a month. And if you buy a whole year's worth, it's like $20 a month. You get a little discount, which is dirt cheap because it like literally made me a website in a matter of minutes. And if I had to hire a freelancer, it would be a nightmare. I would have to go on Fiverr. It would be $200. People would say I'm amazing, then they would suck, and then I would have to like wait a week or two. Then they might disappear if I need an edit. Like it's a challenging process. Not too horrible, but like with Replit, it was so much better. And they don't make WordPress websites on Replit. Replit makes you your own custom like HTML, CSS, JavaScript websites. They use like latest code, but it's not WordPress. So in the long term, if you end up getting off Replit, it might be a challenge because you have to recreate it somehow, but you can download code. But anyway, but to launch a website and to prototype anything, 10 minutes, it will create you that software. So I was thinking to create my own marketing software, like my own marketing agents that do various marketing tasks for me so I can get the word out about this cryptocurrency project, which is a really cool thing because in the past it was just not possible. Like you'd have to like hire people on freelancing sites, and people would say, "Oh, I want to get paid this and that," and they wouldn't be good, and like you have to rehire, not just for WordPress development, but also for marketing, and then you have to manage people, and it would be just such a challenge. You still have to manage the software you build, all these AI agents, but like it's so much less. And so in a day or two or three, you can start any company essentially because hey, you say AI, build me a website, AI, build me an app, AI, build me the marketing assistant, and suddenly you have a team, and and it's just within one day. So a lot of the AI experts that I follow, like even the person who built the CEO of Replit, he was talking about how people are, instead of like having people have instead of long like 30-year careers, a lot of people will find use cases that are really rapid to implement, scale it because you don't need employees as much. You just have software, create everything, make a lot of money, make sales, and then kind of at some point either competition catches up or the use case gets obsolete, so the business doesn't stay sustainable because AI is growing so fast. But because of the ability to create a software company within an hour, essentially, this is good case, but like a day or two or three is more realistic, but it's still like lightning fast. Then people will just kind of create really rapidly growing companies that don't have a long lifetime, but who needs it if they can make a lot of money quickly. So that's the paradigm shift in like career and business, because a lot of people before the trend was to think like, oh, it's for the long term, this company is for the long term. But today it's really hard to project the long term, so a lot of people are doing that. Another use case, actually really clever use case, there's a guy who was making, I don't know if it's making $600,000 a year, I heard a figure, or $1 million a year on Upwork, a freelancing site, because people were posting like, I want this app and I want another this kind of website. And so he would go and make it in like 10 minutes on Replit. And then he would message the original poster and say, I already have a website like this. Would you like to just buy it for $10,000 or something like that? And of course, for the person who wanted that website, it's amazing because they don't have to wait. They can get it right there and then. And it's cheaper than like hiring and waiting and maybe hiring other developers. So that particular person was really clever. I believe it's still a use case that can be used, and I think that guy actually used that very same service, Replit. So this is a huge thing. Replit, like I think we're gonna start hearing like it's going to be one of those other tidal waves that is going to be, like LLM SEO that I talked about earlier, how to get AI to promote you. Actually, how to, like if you were just joining the call, we talked about how to get artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, to promote you. If you missed it, if you are just joining now, I'll have this session stay up so you can always go back to the beginning and watch it again. Um, One thing that I forgot to do, by the way, that I meant to do is I wanted to leave something for people as a thank you for if you're my Udemy student or if you're on YouTube. I actually had a course that I wanted to give people free access to. Um, and different people are interested in different things, but there's one course that I have that I think is ubiquitous. It can be helpful for anybody, and that's goal setting. It's an interesting topic. So I'll post a link to this now in the chat. Anybody is welcome to click that link and enroll for free. It's goal setting, so it basically can be useful for just about anyone. I put a lot of research into that course, like um, latest scientific research on goal setting. It's all there. There's 100 seats that I have. That link has a coupon code. There's 100 seats there. So first come, first serve. And it's just a thank you. If you're a Udemy student, thank you for enrolling in my courses. And if you're joining on YouTube, also thank you for following, and thank you for joining, whether it's you've been a follower for a while or just seeing me now. Thanks for your time. And so I just wanted to leave something that's kind of free as just a thank you from me. So that's just that aside. Where were we? Yeah, Replit making agents and websites and apps. So does anybody have any questions about anything they're working on? I know I've been talking like really fast, and maybe people didn't feel like they had a chance to chime in, but I do see the comments. I got a comment saying, thank you. You're very welcome, Mohammed. Um, but yeah, if anybody's working on anything, want to drop a question, totally welcome. Don't mind that I'm talking fast. I'm just trying to keep it entertaining and not boring, but anytime chime in and I'll be happy to help. The other topic I had that I wanted to talk about was, well, Daniel said, thank you. Um, so um, the other, I had a little list here, very organized. So we talked about LLM SEO, and we talked about Replit, cryptocurrency. Usually when I talk about cryptocurrency, or at least not usually, but like last time I did this call, as soon as I started talking about cryptocurrency, like the number of people who are watching live dropped by like, like by -3 right away. So bear with me. Let me tell you about this cryptocurrency project I'm planning. I haven't planned it out entirely, and I'm still brainstorming it. So if anybody wants to brainstorm with me, Daniel says, first time here. Welcome, Daniel. Are you a Udemy student of mine or just finding this on YouTube? Basically, the format, Daniel, if it's your first time here, I'm chatting about stuff, but really the format is a Q&A format. I'm just waiting for questions where you can ask, if you're working on any creative project, entrepreneurial project, digital marketing, if you're working on anything with AI, I do a lot of work with all those, mentor a lot of people with all those things. So this call is really for if anyone has questions, to help, and also for me to share what I'm working on and what I'm kind of excited about, and hopefully it will be interesting and educational. Dante has a question, and Mohammed has a question. LLM SEO versus GEO, right? Is all these terms. Oh, cool. Um, so Mohammed is asking this question. Like it's super confusing. Um, there is a lecture because I know you're enrolled in that LLM SEO course. I don't know if you've gotten there, but there's like a whole lecture on the difference between AEO, GEO, LLM SEO, and the difference is subtle. So it's almost like I wouldn't be able to explain it now because I'm trying to talk fast, as well as I explained it in that course, because in that course I kind of very thoroughly go like side by side, like this is that. Maybe you just didn't get to that part yet. So maybe try the course, because the course explains it way better, because the difference is subtle, and for most, like, all intents and purposes, there's not a tremendous difference. Some AI agents or some AIs, they don't talk to you. Some AIs just give you answers. Some AIs talk to you. So it's basically you're targeting different kinds of AI usability. But at the end of the day, you have to still structure your content the same way. You still have to become authoritative. There's a lot of things that repeat. So most of the work on our side is not different. Let me just catch up. I got to catch up with the questions. So Replit is just Dante saying Replit is just giving you the website, hard coding, right? It doesn't host, or yeah, it hosts. It even hosts, because within that couple of minutes, like, I don't know, I have a course on this. I can post a link actually. Um, uh, so where is my link? But yeah, I literally just launched it, and it basically walking people through how I made that website. And so here's that link. And what I ended up doing is I created my website, and I had a staging environment, like a test environment. As soon as I was like, okay, I'm kind of ready to launch this website, what it does is it hosts, but you have to buy your own domain name. So I bought a domain name on something like GoDaddy, which I know people hate GoDaddy, but I think for domain names it's okay. So I bought a domain name on GoDaddy, and then all I had to do was redirect the name servers. So the hosting was GoDaddy, not hosting. The domain name registrar was GoDaddy, and I redirected it to point to whatever my uh, deployment environment was on Replit. And then when people go to that URL that I bought, the domain name, the thing that I made on Replit renders. And Replit is like cool. Like it automatically installed my HTTPS, the SSL certificates. It installed it. I'm about to the website is new, so there's some things I haven't installed, but I think it can install with almost no extra effort. Google Analytics, configure Google Search Console. I believe it plugs in. I have a question. Let me catch up 1 second. So yeah, it hosts. The only thing is it doesn't buy you can't you have to buy the domain name from somewhere else. It's not a domain registrar, but it does do the hosting. The other thing that you want to be careful about is it doesn't always use all the possible APIs and libraries of other companies and services. But only whatever it can have access to. Because I asked it to make some things that it couldn't, because it needed like extra library access to. But you can always you basically talk to Replit like you would talk to ChatGPT. And was asking Replit, hey Replit, are you able to do this? Are you able to do that? And Replit was telling me what it can do. And so I almost kind of was brainstorming, like literally no coding, no reading documentation, just talking to Replit. Let me quickly catch up with the comments. I have so many comments now. What advice do you have for advancing your career in SEO? Is it easy to break in higher paying positions like 100K? Okay, so today SEO, it's like if you ask two different people, they'll tell you like two different answers. Some people will say SEO is dead. The traditional SEO with the blue links may be dead. I don't know, because SEO is basically whatever Google does. That's SEO, and if Google thinks like they're stressing out because ChatGPT is stealing their traffic, then Google is going to change. Like I showed earlier, like Google is going to start looking like ChatGPT very soon. At least that's they're heavily testing that and rolling it out to a lot of users, right? So like they're rolling it out. I was able to use it. I was able to share my screen also. If you're joining now, if you missed it, I showed earlier how Google is showing, like they're going to become like ChatGPT in the interface. So that traditional SEO with the blue links may be totally going away. The great news is that, like outside of this call, for example, right? If you go to the gym, or if you go to the market, or if you catch up with friends, nobody knows what is this LLM SEO. We are early. So if you want to get a job in um, uh, like SEO, don't get a job today in SEO. Don't do the old thing, link building, whatever else, like on page. I love on page optimization because I was able to get a lot of things to rank. But that actually on page optimization is still good because it ties a lot into the LLM SEO. So actually on page stuff is great, but like a lot of like link building, a lot of old SEO tactics, that's dying. but the LLM stuff is not dying. Let me actually post a link to that course if you're trying to get a job in SEO, and if you tell potential employers like, hey, I'm doing this thing. If you don't already have that course, this link has a discount. Um, like, this is the hottest trend in SEO. It's not, and if you can go to a company and say, I can do this stuff for you, and if you can also use Replit and build AI agents to do more SEO work, not like outsourcing yourself, but making yourself the smartest SEO person and outsourcing all the other SEO people who are still targeting the blue links. I think, I don't know, you asked for 100K working in SEO. It's not a traditional SEO salary, because SEO marketers don't traditionally make that much unless you have your own agency. And if you have your own agency doing this cutting edge stuff, that that sounds super cryptic, like LLM SEO, and people get scared, like, what is this LLM? But if you're doing cutting edge stuff, you can sell high end services to clients. So that salary that you mentioned could be within reach, not for with an employer, but on your own. Although you can actually do both. You can work for an employer, and on your own time, you can get your own freelancing clients, or kind of make your own agency, and have Replit make your agency website literally while we're still on the call. Um, and then you can show us, like, when the call gets to the end, you're like, hey, I made my own agency website and connected the domain name, and now I'm ready to promote it. And then you can post a link to your agency website, as long as, while we're still on the call, and maybe somebody else on this call will need your services. And that would be actually, that probably wouldn't happen, but that would be kind of super cool. But yeah, definitely stay on top of everything, because it's really like that in any field. I think you want to, you're always like, if you don't stay on top of what's new, we're always kind of becoming dinosaurs. But as long as we're like just a little bit ahead of everybody, it's crazy to see how far behind people end up falling. Because when I'm in this world, like AI slash cryptocurrency slash agents slash SEO, LLM, and ChatGPT, it's like a different universe. When I go outside and if I talk to people and they're like regular people, they don't even understand that this is happening. That, like, there's such a chasm, you know, um, or they hear about it sometimes, but it's like, um, you know, but all the jobs are like, not all, but so many, and so many industries are just gonna, it feels like there's just gonna be a tidal wave of change. I feel it from my work too, very much, like, because I make courses. Like, why do you need a human instructor if AI can do it better? Luckily, in some courses that I have, like, there's no courses like that in AI, so I'm still doing okay. But like, what I'm doing is also really, really, really impacted. Let me also catch up. I hope that answers your question. Um, Elliot, hey Elliot, what's up? Asks, what's the best platform to publish? Um, uh, Aben Jacob, I see your question. You're next. Or there's a bunch of people. I gotta catch up with the text. This is the dead air time where it's like, I'm like, what does that say? Um, hey, but Elliot asked, hey Alex, what's the best platform to publish my course and make money? This is a good question. Udemy, for my taste, I've been on Udemy since 2013. I have almost 1 million students. I have like 900,000, 604,000. I think this summer, I'm probably gonna hit 1 million. So I've been on there for a while. Up to this year, it was always my answer, like Udemy, Udemy, Udemy. I'm like a huge fan. And it's actually, I'm just full-time Udemy instructor. So it's like most of my life professionally is Udemy. And I would answer Udemy. I think the e-learning entire industry is a little challenging today, because it's like it's very competitive, not by humans, but like with AI, and nobody really knows what's the future. Because today, like, I could be an AI avatar, you wouldn't know. So um and if I was an AI avatar, that I'm not an AI avatar, because I have a weird accent. Sometimes I say sometimes I stutter. AI will never do that. It will deliver everything perfectly, beautifully, and you will be like, wow, what a how it sounds so amazing. I want to listen more. So AI would you know I'm not AI, because AI would just not never be this bad or so much better. But that's the problem. I think other course platforms like Skillshare, maybe you've heard of Skillshare. People hate like instructors really hate Skillshare because they're a company who's known to be like vicious to instructors, like for no reason banned. I don't know why. It's a really like they're not transparent, but they're horror stories. Like I used to know this guy who used to promote the affiliate program of Skillshare like crazy. Like he would drive them so many students, and one day they just said, "Hey, we don't want banned, right?" So he made like a Facebook group. He built up an audience. His whole business like sort of died. A lot of instructors just banned. There was one horror story. Somebody said on that website in the class, they said, um, "You should get good sleep because you'll have more energy and better focus the next day." Something business related, productivity related. And somebody at Skillshare said, "Hey, you said get more sleep, which means you're providing medical advice." Banned, right? Because they're like, in terms of service, no medical advice, right? So it's like ridiculous kind of a company that's not reasonable. So they're known to be not nice at all to instructors. So I would never recommend them. um, and other e-learning companies like LinkedIn Learning, it's invite only. Coursera, invite only. So a lot of them are like, you can't even. So the only real other option is to make your own website. So you can host your own courses on something like Thinkific or Teachable and try to sell it there. When you sell on your own, you can sell the same course for a much more expensive price because you're no longer on a competitive marketplace. On marketplaces like Udemy or Amazon, they're marketplaces. Marketplaces they're too competitive, so the price goes down. It's good for the consumer, bad for the seller. Um, what's good for the seller is that those marketplaces have like millions of people, like so much traffic. They provide the marketing, so you make smaller margins, but like a lot of sales. On your own website, you can be a little bit more of a boutique and sell for higher prices. So if you have a really valuable course, which is really the crux of the answer, is to create a super course. Like for example, there are topics of yesterday, like how to do affiliate marketing. Okay, a huge topic in like the make money online entrepreneurship space. It's kind of a topic of yesterday, right? It was hot 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. But now it's a little bit like, yeah, everybody knows affiliate marketing, whatever. But what about build your own agency with AI and Replit without any code in one day? Now that's hot. Like that's pertinent today. So if you can make courses that are like pertinent for today, uh, this is where, regardless of the platform, you will give yourself higher potential to make money. Hopefully, I hope that explains it. And then if you have follow-up questions, feel welcome to ask follow-up questions. Um, ask that. Let me read more. 1 second. There's always this like. So Jacob asking, Alex, I'm working on Lovable, and I think it's similar to Replit. Yeah, I think so. I heard of that. I didn't play with it. I never played with Lovable. I'll tell you that I also have a friend who's using Base 44, which is one of the similar services, to create a mobile app. And I was talking to him about how like the promise of this website is like, in 5 minutes, right? That's the promise. But the reality is that even if you give it a great AI prompt, it will create something approximating what you wanted, with a lot of little bugs and a lot of things that isn't exactly how you explained what you wanted. So you end up having to spend extra time, like the 80/20 kind of rule, where you can get most of your website built very quickly. But in every little detail, like, hey, I want the color of this button to be this, or I want this kind of a look and feel. And that, like, there's a lot of longer term work, like the last 20%, where you have to tell it in detail what you really want. And I think all of these no code websites, the vibe coding ones, they suffer from this problem. Um, but I think that almost also all of them, in 6 months or a year or in 2 years, this will no longer be a problem. So it's hard to say, it's the quality of their software, which is going to change, probably internally changes weekly. So it's like, I don't know which one is better, honestly, but I'm happy with Replit. but it's the one that I tried. I know it's not the full answer, like really great answer, but when you use Lovable, see if you are totally happy from the first iteration, and how much you have to keep on asking it and asking it and asking it, and how many bugs it creates initially that you have to tell it to fix. I think that's kind of the answer. But it's really also anecdotal, because one of them can be good for apps, one of them can be good for websites, So like if you're just building one, I feel like it's something that I shouldn't be the person providing the answer, but I think the companies wouldn't objectively be honest about it. They're like, we are great, buy us, buy our service. But probably there are some reviews by heavy duty users online that probably tell you the truth a little bit more objectively, provided, of course, granted that whatever they say is probably outdated in 2 months. Let me catch up with the questions. Mohammed says, should we focus on niche topics that go deep and dive into the topic? Yeah, for LLM SEO, definitely. Like I know in your case, I think you have cybersecurity. So like, because you already have a lot of work in this, you can really go deep. And that's what you would do, like give real deeper insights. I think the era of just writing blog posts for the sake of writing blog posts is over. Now, when you're writing, you always have to be like thinking, how can I make this so interesting and quotable, and actually use literal quotes so that AI can pull that. That's one of the techniques. But really, how do you really think original ideas and explain them, really original thoughts, so that AI can be like, oh, this is like truly original stuff here. Of course, it shouldn't be so original that it's wrong, but at least you would try. Let me catch up with the questions also. Hopefully, this is clear and good explanations. If it isn't, my feelings won't get hurt. I won't cry. You can ask follow-up questions. It's totally fine. In fact, I'll be happy, because my goal here is to make sure that people are satisfied with the answers. If I can help, I'm happy to help. Okay. Crown Jewels, I have three comments. Let me quickly read them. Hey, Alex, thank you for doing this live session. You're very welcome. Can you please tell me how one can be successful with no experience and not a lot of money? I got it. Okay. Are there any parts of course that you heavily recommend for a person to focus on who wants to get away from the 9-to-5 grind? My name is Jewel. Hi, Jewel. My question is regards to affiliate marketing. Okay. Jewel, maybe you can comment. Are you already in my affiliate marketing course, or are you just asking about affiliate marketing randomly? So there's like a few questions in that course. Cool. So there's like a few questions in that question. So let me kind of go one by one. I think, yeah, thanks for enrolling in that class, by the way. I think like maybe, yeah, you were on this call when I was talking about how affiliate marketing is a little bit of the business of yesterday. Like for me, okay, like because it was a lot of questions in one question, so I'm thinking, what's the ideal way to answer so that it all kind of ties in together, like like a bow. But I was in your situation before, where I had a 9-to-5 job that I really didn't like, and I quit. I ended up quitting that career and being on my own, and it was so stressful because it was financially crazy stressful. I see some comments. I'll get to them, but just let me answer this question. Yeah, that like, and the financial stress. Well, both the stress of being at a job that you don't like, which is soul crushing, and then after that, the stress of just the financial stress, which is with you 24 hours a day, all the time. That's also really hard to bear. So I totally understand the situation. This is literally my path as well, and it's honestly most of the people who study entrepreneurship and online business in my courses, it's their path as well. Like it's such a shared experience, and I really identify and feel for it, because like I remember how hard it was. Like, and when you're in that, like you want to shorten it as much as possible. because a lot of times you sit in your room and you're like have no answers. Like try this online, try this online, try this online. It's like not working. Still in the same situation. It's very disheartening, and it's painful, and I really identify with it. Like it was looking back, things feel like they're not as bad. When anytime you look back at some hardship in life, it doesn't seem as bad as it actually was when you were going through it. So you would look back at it fondly, like, oh, challenges, and I overcame it. But at the moment, it's tough. So I understand the thing. Now, let me like, answer a little bit more. Like after I explained that, it's like everybody's path is pretty much that. You see, if you have stress from the job, stress after you quit the job, if you quit the job, you can't do anything that's like long term or has long term focus until you alleviate the stress. Because the way our brains are made is like if you're under stress, most of your effort is going to be to relieve the short term stress, which is going to give you short term solutions, which are seldom the best. And so it really clouds your decision making in your entrepreneurial career. It's easy to say, oh, make better decisions, but it really is hard to make long-term decisions that are good, that look beyond the stressors. But I think creating a like longer term viable thing, business, is kind of, at least traditionally, this is what you wanted to do, like build something sustainable. For affiliate marketing, in affiliate marketing, there's this promise like put up an affiliate site, find products to sell, drive traffic to the product, make money, earn passive income, be on the beach. Okay, this is like, and a lot of times people sell you this vision because they're selling you, oh, in order to do this, you need to buy the software. And by the way, I'm myself an affiliate of the software. So, just buy my software and I'll make a profit, right? So, like, so a lot of people have not objective incentive. Um, in reality today, it's really hard to make that work because you can run ads, you can put up a page, but it's so hard to make those ads profitable. And most people, in a very heartbreaking fashion, end up losing money on ads, losing money by buying expensive programs, and they end up 6 months later in the same place where they were, just worse. And so a lot of times I see this in affiliate marketing, which I do my absolute best to steer people away from this. Affiliate marketing does work, but it's not about like find the product, sell it quickly. It's more like build it, find, I do some affiliate marketing, but I do it in a different way, where first I provide something of value, generate traffic, engage that traffic, build trust, and then I say, hey, by the way, in whatever you're doing, you're going to need this thing, and might as well buy it through my affiliate link, because my affiliate link happens to give you a 10% discount. So you're incentivized, you're going to spend less, save money, I'm going to make money. And so that way people actually appreciate when you sell, but it's after you build the traffic, build the trust, don't lose their trust, right? Don't sell like some random widgets people don't need. um, and that's longer term, and it's super not exactly what you want to hear when you're trying to get out of a 9 to 5 job and make money that sustains you, because then you need things that work in the short term. This is why I had that long preamble about when you're under stress, you can only focus on the short term to alleviate that short term stress. um, uh, but yeah, let me catch up with the comments. So that's affiliate marketing. Luckily today, you see, we talked about earlier on this call, like, it's crazy how much opportunity there is, with the rise of like AI and software generated by AI purely. You can build up, create your own agency website, create your own whatever you want app today, launch it today, start promoting it today, like through AI agents, all that stuff. There's always like lack of opportunity because things are changing so much, but it opens up like new opportunity as long as your mindset is like, How can I, okay, it's changing. How can I learn the most about the new fields, right? And then how can I start taking advantage of this earlier? Let me explain to you what I would do. So if you're on social media, what I would recommend, like let's say Twitter is actually good for this, X. Some people don't like X, but let's suspend that for a little bit. We're just business here, like no, not emotional. Um, uh, so on the reason I like X is because it's kind of a platform where people go and dump their thoughts. If they're doing something, if they're promoting something, they kind of post their stuff. A lot of people post on Instagram as well, but not everybody. So I feel like it's still the hub for posting. And so what I do is I go and I follow the investors, like VC investors and news sources in all the things that are of tomorrow. For example, you can kind of guess like cryptocurrency. It's revolutionizing the finance space. So I gotta follow like the top people in cryptocurrency. Then AI. I gotta follow the top people in AI, like people who are like actually the CEO of Replit, right? Or people like this who are actually making these algorithms and who can kind of see a little bit further ahead than everybody else. Follow them. There's used to be this thing, kind of a promise of VR, AR, augmented reality. It was supposed to be super hot and trendy. It never really materialized yet. It didn't blow up, like it didn't become like in every home kind of a thing. But it was supposed to be. That was like the I think 4 or 5 years ago, it was like next year this thing is going to explode. But basically, what you would do is follow all the smartest tech people, um, investors, news publications, thought leaders, engineers, and see what they're working on. And they're going to literally point you to the cutting edge of any space. And this is like where you see, okay, um, how, what can I do here? And don't do it theoretically, like plow in. Um, because it's just so easy. Like if you're opening a restaurant or you can't plow in. You got to plan, but you got to start these businesses so that your experience in these fields isn't theoretical; it's practical, which will give you next ideas, and that's how you get better business ideas that are actually profitable and off tomorrow instead of stuff that has been done. Let me quickly catch up. I hope it's helpful. Also, if you have follow-up questions, I know I didn't like answer exactly, but I think it's a challenging question because today so many businesses are just like different because of AI, and some businesses are just going away because of AI. So it's really hard to predict what business to get into. But the one thing is clear is you've got to know like what be expert in AI now, be on top of what's happening in AI in 6 months. Once you're on top of what's in it, what's happening in AI in 6 months, you can kind of use it and wow the people who are of the now, right? That they're 6 months ago, because you're kind of on top of things, and then you can sell them services. You can sound like you're a genius, and so provide services like, hey, I'll build you a whole website, build you an app. Um, you'll do it in 5 minutes, but they'll pay like it took you 2 weeks or something. So you can do a lot of this kind of stuff. Let me catch up with questions. Um, AI removes the middleman. It does a lot of times. Yeah. How much human invention is needed to make AI blog content for Reader and Google AI? Some, because I don't know of any AI service that writes everything for you right into. Scratch that. Scratch that. If you make content with something like Replit, it will write the content, put it right on the pages for you, interlink things just as you told it, and SEO optimize it just as you tell it. So actually, you can, if you do everything from scratch with Replit, you can do this really fast. If you have a WordPress website, Replit doesn't connect to it, so you have to kind of do the manual stuff. AI creates your content, but then you have to paste your content, create your inner links. So it's for every page that AI will write for you, you would spend, if you really want to be thorough, like 10-15 minutes of human intervention, but also proofreading, because you can't just blindly trust it. Like, you have to know what's on your website. You can't just, what if AI makes errors? So yeah, but take that from writing a fantastic blog post would take you 4 hours of boring writing, right? So it down to 10-15 minutes at worst. Let me catch up with more questions. Israel Ironstein is here. Israel is my friend, and he actually had a question about his website. So we actually can um, look at his website live and do our LLM SEO on it. I invited him, and I was like, wow, this is going to be such a cool example. So let me share my screen. So just to give you a background, I think we can share the URL. Let me go there and I'll paste the URL. Point View Coaching. Really good consultant based in New York. So I pasted the URL there. And I'm going to share my screen shortly. All right. So let me see if anyone has questions. If nobody has questions, we're going to take a little detour and we're going to do a live SEO audit of this website, and we're going to tell him all the good things. We're going to make fun of him a little bit just because it's fun, and we'll have a good time, and then we'll all learn how to position. Like, imagine that this will be your website and you're optimizing to get ChatGPT to promote you. And I'll check back into the chat to look at questions, but while I'm sharing screen, it will be hard for me to check questions. So I'll hang out on his website. I'll share my screen. I'll hang out for a few minutes on his website, talk through what I would do, what I like, what I don't like, and then I'll come back to the chat and we'll talk about it. Does that sound okay with everybody? So just picture that it's not his website, picture that it's your website, and how you would be doing this. So let me share my screen and we'll look at his website. Wrong button. I almost pressed the button to end stream. No, share screen, not end. That would be a blooper. People would be like, what happened? No, share screen. Senior moment. Share screen. All right, here we go. So this is Israel's website. He is business coaching and consulting, delivering results. And look at this picture. This is a handsome man. It's a big. He actually in real life is a handsome guy, but this is an AI generated photo. It actually looks like it's not AI generated. It looks real. When I created my own AI generated photos, for some reason AI like gave me like 20 plastic surgeries. It really didn't like my original face, but I think it kept his face much closer to what it actually is. In any case, let's look at SEO. One thing I really like right away: book a complimentary call to action right there. Now, the top right part of your website is where people look the least. So I would actually put that somewhere in the middle or the left, so somewhere shifted. The top right is where the eyes go last, right? People kind of read from left to right. So you kind of want to not have it on the right side, but it's a minor issue. I think it can be solved in his case because people will be so mesmerized by the photo, and then that button is so close to the photo that I think in his case it will work. Now, first thing to do is, we know that AI really wants authoritative people. So the about page really is important. And he actually did a great job because he has the about page right there. Let's click it. Look at this guy. It's also AI generated, but it's handsome pictures that AI made for him. A lifelong passion for coaching strategy and helping people and businesses succeed. Okay, great. This is a little hard to read because it's a lot of text. And even though you have a picture, it doesn't actually break up the text. What is good for AI is there is a lot of headings, like my approach. I like AI loves easy for AI to pull bullet points on every LLM tutorial. There's like mentions of like structure your website, not structure data, which is a different thing, but structure your content in a way that's skimmable and readable so that people and AIs can easily digest it. And here, this bullet point is really great for AI. What I would do is I would have more informative um, headlines instead of my approach, which is a very general. I would say something like why the Einstein coaching method is breakthrough, and or whatever, right? Like Einstein is his name, um, or why this uh, coaching or consulting, I think we have to identify the terminology, but why this coaching is cutting edge, or how I use emotional intelligence in my coaching, how I use the latest in leadership quality, latest in leadership, most valued leadership qualities in my coaching, right? So a little bit more informative, because um, if people ever ask AI, like, hey, who is a great consultant who also understands empathy and emotional intelligence, which are big topics today. Um, and if he writes about himself, like, I use empathy, right? And I use emotional intelligence and I do this, or maybe he will write something else, like, I'm a really great visionary in business strategy. So if AI asks, if people ask AI, like, hey, who is a consultant who specializes in being vigilant and being strategic? If he writes that about himself, AI will pick it up, because it will learn, because all the AIs learn, not like they're not in a class taking a class and learning. They're literally scanning all the websites and learning the content on the websites, and that's where they will learn all the stuff. So what I would go do is go into much greater detail, and the place to go in much greater detail, the number one page, is the about page. This is where ideally AI will pull all the amazing things about you. This has to be longer. The sections have to be more well, I guess, more expressive, especially the headings. Things like that will go a long way. Um, and all the possible things you specialize in, like under services, you also can mention them here, like why I am, like, why, how I specialize in business growth. And this is really great. There's so many articles and sub articles, right? How I help small businesses sales, right? Or things like, right? So all the subtopics should be mentioned either on the about page. If it's too much for the about page, you want to have, this is really great, the services section is really rich, and a lot of them have subtopics. Now under subtopics, this one, preparing to sell. Preparing to sell is not an SEO keyword, because nobody searches preparing to sell. In, let me see what this page is really about, and then we'll reposition it so that it targets a keyword. Preparing to sell includes a plan to ensure you have clarity, confidence, maximizing. So you can go to the Google keyword tool um, and actually look for keywords. So what I would do is ask, so let me do this, let's do this together. The Google Keyword Planner, it's a million clicks to get into it, but we'll do it quickly. And so preparing to sell, I'm going to show you here. There's nobody searching that, I don't think. We'll see. Search terms. Sorry, tools, right? Planning. I was trying to do this quickly, and then I clicked the wrong thing. Keyword Planner, this is what we want. And discover keywords. So preparing to sell. I never did research for this term, but it's not a natural thing people say. So I don't know. I would guess nobody's searching this, or almost nobody. But let's see what this says, right? So 20 people a month globally, or actually only in the United States. So it's kind of a small volume. What I would look for is keyword ideas for the phrasing people use. So here people are talking about selling homes. But what if I do like B2B sales research? I also never did this term, but maybe also a bad keyword, right? Only 10 people. So I would keep doing this. If I'm out of ideas, I would look for a broader keyword and just get ideas that resemble what that page is about. Yeah, so okay, so B2B sales strategy is kind of related. Now it's 400 people searching for this a month. It's not an amazing number, but it's better. You can keep on searching this. So but we can punch this into here and see if it gives us related ideas. You can also ask ChatGPT for related ideas, but we just don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want to get somewhere good by using this tool. So it gives so strategy, SaaS. If if it's SaaS, if you're targeting SaaS, you can have a section about SaaS because obviously you're going to capture the SaaS keywords. But sales plan, okay, so sales plan, sales planning, right? So like sales planning is closer to what that page is about. Now, sales planning, almost 3,000 people are searching this. And so this is essentially the same topic as preparing to sell, except all of a sudden you can capture 3,000 people a month if you're doing SEO keyword, right? So a lot of the topics you gotta put them through. Oops, you gotta let me stop sharing for a second. You've got to put them through the keyword tool so you're not guessing, because if you're guessing, you're kind of flying blind, which you really don't want to be guessing. You really want to be um, like using exactly the keywords that Google tells you are good. You may never end up ranking for them, but what you should do is do yourself a favor and give yourself a chance at least to rank for them. Because remember, the idea of ranking for keywords, that's an idea from before, because the blue links of Google might be going away entirely. I don't know. But what's not going away is, instead of ranking for different people and different needs and different queries, AI might recommend you now. If you write a detailed page and target the right queries and all this stuff, AI might recommend you. So it might be also smart enough to bypass this whole keyword idea, but it might not, because at the same time, if people are putting asking specifics of it, it will return specifics pertinent to the question. And if people are saying specifically like sales planning, then you want to talk about sales planning. Israel is saying in the chat, this is a business owners who want to sell their business. Okay, so how to sell a business, right? This is also, but I wouldn't be able to tell that from preparing to sell. How to sell a business. So you would go to the same process and you would look at how to sell a business, 2,400 people, if you target that keyword correctly. But to be honest, it's a lot more than 2,400 people that are searched this, because this is only one variation of that phrase. Because some people will say, how to sell your business, or how to sell a company instead of a business, right? They would use a synonym. Some people would say not how to sell a business, but how to sell a restaurant. There's no word business, and there's a specific business. How to sell a small business. So you can see that this really adds up, and the number of traffic, if you add, really adds up in volume. Naturally, you're never going to capture all that traffic, but the volume is there and the potential is there. So I would really carefully optimize all the keywords just like that. So every page you have, if it's not targeting a keyword, it's kind of wasting itself, because it could be giving you a greater potential. And you don't, on that website, you don't have that many pages that it becomes impossible to do this practice. Like if you had 1,000 products on your website, I understand it's really hard. You have to prioritize some pages would be left unoptimized. But if you have only like 15 or 20 pages on your website, you've got to really optimize all of them, because you did 80% of the work and you created all the services pages. Now make them great. Now when you make them great, This needs to be a little longer. Well, this is this page is also what's called thin content. There's just not a lot of original content because um, this is original content, I believe. This is original content, I believe. No, um, I don't know if this is, I'm not sure if it's original content, and certainly this other blog, I don't know if this is original content. So, and then there's no more content. Well, it's kind of this content, but then it's really confusing. Anyway, the navigation is a little clunky. But today, if you want to rank, this is a competitive keyword, by the way, like how to sell a business. You're competing with a whole bunch of other businesses and consultants who, luckily, you have the secret weapon, which is us. We're going to help you do this, and you're on top of LLM SEO and all this stuff. Yeah, I know you can't. I know you cannot see. That's true. I should have shared my screen. You're right. You're right. I thought I reshared it. Let me share my screen now, and yeah, good call. Um, and basically what I was saying is the content looks a little thin because if I go to this page, there's this content that's original, there's this content that's original, there's this content that may be original, maybe not, and then the rest of it kind of looks like stuff from templated stuff from other pages, and this is kind of looks like maybe original content, maybe it's pasted from other places, but very thin here. What you really want to do today is focus on like really write this out with original ideas, original examples. Use sometimes like a Q&A format for your subsections because um, that's how people will search and ask AI. They will ask AI in long form questions. And if your sections match how people phrase their questions, AI will pull your answer and they will reference you and promote you. And this goes, AI is Google AI answers, but also ChatGPT and all the other AI bros. We're going to call them. I have that joke. I don't know if it's very funny, but I call them AI bros. All the AI services that popped up instead of naming them like Claude, DALI, ChatGPT, Google, just the AI bros. I don't know if this is funny. Maybe you can comment because I've been using that a lot, and maybe I'm a little bit repetitive. I have like one joke. Um, so anyway, so I think I shared it, but I think it stopped sharing. I don't know. Did it stop sharing, or did I just never shared it in the beginning? Maybe people can comment because I'm having senior moments left and right. Uh, Now I'm for sure not sharing screen. So I would do this to build out the content and make it almost like answering queries. Either the subsection of a page is literally in the question form, or you simply just address a common question. But definitely, yeah, I know you cannot see my screen now because now I'm not sharing. But basically, on that page, if you go there, because you wrote that page, it's like very thin content, very little original content, maybe 100 or 200 words of original content. But like today, you want to write detail, because you want them to pick detail that people ask when people ask AI, like some details, like is this, what's the pricing? How do you work? Like, do you come to my office? Do I come to your office? Do you have an office in New York? Like, I want people who have been in business for a while. Do you have discounts? All this kind of stuff. If you have it on your website, AI will pick it up and they will recommend those very, very details to whoever's searching AI. Like literally a couple of days ago, I gave this example earlier in this call. I asked AI, what's the cheapest place to get a haircut in my town, just as a test. And it literally pulled the pricing from from a Yelp review, because none of the other barber shops, like, they're not doing that much SEO, right? So it's like they probably have no website or like some basic website, but somebody on Yelp mentioned the price, and the AI pulled the price, and it showed me the price of this one place that's the cheapest one. So if you have that information, AI will pull stuff from you and link to you and reference you and give you credit, and people will go to your business. So the level of detail and original ideas, this is how you're going to get ChatGPT and Google AI to promote you. which is really today it is super pertinent. So does that sort of help? I think that's the next step. You've got the AI generated handsome picture. Now you gotta like kind of build out the content in two ways. Keyword targeting, it's still a thing. Um, like I demonstrated, you got to do the better keyword targeting, um, which is really none of it's rocket science, but better keyword targeting and also better, more detailed explanation and more detailed writing. So that definitely. Does anybody? I'm going to pause here just for 1 second. As I've been talking for a while, I want to give people a chance to comment, and I have one comment that I didn't read yet. And if you have any questions, any comments, you want to comment on how handsome his pictures are from AI, also it's a good comment, or any other comments actually. Um, or you might not think he's that handsome. Let's see what people say in the comments. Um, Mohammed says, if we are new to any topic, then should we have to research the topic in detail first? If yes, how much information? Well, yeah, if you're new to a topic, um, we are all guilty of sometimes acting as expert or needing to be expert or needing to appear as expert before we are ready. It looks bad when other people do it, other people do it, but we've all sort of done it when we had to. So it's kind of yeah, like you want to do more research, but um, when you're new to a topic, yeah, it's hard to be original and authoritative. I think this is when you got to do the work of like, um, there's another thing in LLM SEO is getting other people to talk well about you on their website. So if you ever want to get publicity from somewhere, if you want to get mentions on some influencer's blog or some other blog, whatever, if other people mention you favorably, that's really great, and it gives you a reputation in Google's eyes. Now, if one person mentions you favorably, that's not so impressive. But if it's a number of mentions across the internet and social media, then that sets a flag in Google, like, hey, this person's gaining authority quickly. People are talking about this person, so it's something you can simulate. Something you can kind of approximate if you appear in podcasts and they have an accompanying blog on their. They're going to mention you. If you just network on social media, you get a little bit, like, you're not going to become an expert overnight. So it does make it more difficult to just get into a field, because Google will scrutinize your website, but they have always scrutinized websites. Like, there's this idea, maybe a lot of people who have taken my SEO courses, they know, one of the first things I mentioned, YMYL, your money or your life. Like, if your website or your business has anything remotely close to do with your money or your life, like finances, health, gambling, anything, um, diet, nutrition, they will like scrutinize your website for a long time and be very careful about how much traffic they're going to send you anyway. So that's been a thing for a long time. It's not like just because of AI you can't get into a business. It has been an issue for a while, and probably for the better, because there's a lot of people who like roll out of bed and they're like, I'm going to give health advice because I don't have any formal education or experience in this, but I feel good about myself. um, I feel like my anecdotal experience is can be applied worldwide, right? So we don't want to take it advice from this kind of a health expert. We want to take advice from legitimate health experts, like, who are top in the world. So, for consumers, it's better. For business owners, okay, it's kind of irritating. Like, you wanted to succeed sooner, but I think for collectively, as a whole, it's probably better that they're kind of thorough about this stuff. Let me quickly read a question. Uh, Dante said, I asked this above. Do you do much AI deep research? If so, how are you using it? If all of LLM has deep research options now? Actually, to be honest, I don't do deep research. Do you mean? Can you elaborate what you mean? Because I actually not familiar with if it's a term if it's a specific industry term, I think it would be enlightening for everybody here to look into it. Let me quickly, you can explain it, but deep research in AI. I'm just gonna Google it. Um, Introducing deep research. Oh yeah, cool. Um, an agent that uses reasoning to synthesize large amounts of online information and complete multi-step research tasks for you, available to pro users. Oh, okay, so this is kind of like agent. It's a little bit something we talked about. I don't have research needs, but I do have very similar needs. Like I think when they say research, they don't mean research like become a scientist. They mean research, I think, like find all the relevant data and act on it. And that, yes, because we talked about creating marketing agents like that basically run in the background and just like an example of something that I want to build, and I might like I'm planning to build something like this, and not next week, but like maybe in 2 or 3 weeks I'm going to get around to it, maybe in 4 weeks. I'm actually excited about it, so I'm hoping to do it sooner, but I just might not get to it. And this is where you create your own marketing agent, like a software that sells to small businesses. Like, so for example, I have this creative project. The cryptocurrency that I'm launching is kind of aims to help creative people. And so instead of targeting creative people one at a time, what if I targeted music schools or art schools or coaches, right? Because they have, a single music school might have 100 students, right? So instead of one at a time, I would sell to like the school who would constantly promote. And so that use case would help me. Because of that use case, I would create an AI agent who would go and look up, give me all the um, get me music schools in America or the world. Okay, now get their email addresses. Okay, got their email addresses. Now write them a template email. Okay, wrote them an email. Send an email. The ones who reply back, right? So this agent would just work as though I hired a bunch of freelancers. So that sort of thing, yeah, like it's one of the fascinating use cases because it replaces a huge part of your marketing sales department. Um, so yeah, this I'm really excited about. Um, I think once I start implementing this, it will turn out to be harder than this theoretical example because you can't just send emails and spam everybody because you'll get flagged by email agents, email spam systems. So, it's not so easy, but then you can also instruct your AI to be like, hey, write original posts. Don't just copy paste every possible thing. Maybe instead of email, also balance it out with reach out on social media, because all these places, they post their contact information online because they want to be contacted. So an agent like that would be really cool. Um, so that's something definitely that uh, I haven't built it yet, but I want to. I'm really excited about it, actually. And I'm kind of a little bit afraid that when I start doing it, it won't be as good as advertised. Like if it's a stupid agent, imagine you build this agent and you like have this incredible workflow for it, but it does everything not at the incredible intelligence level, but at like 80% intelligence level. So that makes mistakes. And then I have to like go in there and manually check, but it like does a million actions. So it's impossible to manually check, and it will be comedy like of errors. So I'm a little bit afraid that this will happen, but I'm hopeful for it. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, and I'm reading your comment. There's an option for deep research on ChatGPT, Gronk, Gemini, Grok. Yes, yeah. Instead of a quick answer, it goes deep. Uh for the deep, yeah, I did it also, um, but it was just annoying to wait 10, 15 minutes because so much of the time, the answers you don't need professor level answers. You just need like a good answer, not a research, like a world class research on it. So a lot of times it's overkill. like I don't even think I have topics that such deep research needs to be done on them. So if it's something specific, yeah. But and I also wouldn't recommend it because um, it's super energy consuming, intensive, and it's totally not green to make AI do any more work than it should. In fact, the CEO of OpenAI, he was saying like people are sometimes polite to AI, like, oh, thanks, ChatGPT. Can you please do this? A lot of people still use the please and thank you with AI. He said, don't do it because every word costs them money because more processing. So he's like, don't be polite to your AI. I believe he's like on kind of on record. I think most people are trying to be polite in case AI kills them. Like, hey, you remember that time I was polite? But like he says, don't be polite. Let me catch up with your questions. Um, that's like the other topic of SEI of like AI. Is it really going to turn against us? But let me catch up on the questions. Hassam, welcome. Comment, but didn't focus on the SEO optimization till the last posts. Did I miss one comment? Like, does having an old website makes it rank faster than newer websites? And that's not important. Uh, Domain and website age does help, but not such a tremendous amount. What really helps is that you've built up credibility. So, like, if you have a 20-year-old website, but it's not good, and you give advice like, eat more candy for your health, right? It's not good. Um, so, this is a toy example that I just used, but if like it's not expert, um, I think maybe you're like climbing an uphill battle, right? It does give you like a plus, but there's like hundreds of factors, and that's one factor is the age. So I wouldn't rely on it. It's helpful, but I wouldn't rely on any single factor too much. Like SEO is like a holistic practice. Got to get the keywords right, got to optimize it right, got to become an expert, got to make sure that Google recognizes you're an expert. Write bios. By the way, I forgot to mention, but one of the key things is every page and every blog post you write have a really extensive bio section in the blog posts and any content you write, because they scan that and they use your bios a lot of times to gauge how authoritative of a subject matter you are on the topic. So that's just part of LLM SEO. That's like a thing. Now, in the past, it was like, why would I write a bio? Like, who cares? People know me from other pages on my website. But today, it's important. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that answers your question. If it didn't answer, just feel welcome to write a follow-up comment. Next question. Israel writes that he appreciates all those nice comments about his picture. No, that's not what he writes. He used deep search when I started building my website. I asked it to scrutinize my website. Really cool. I wonder, see, this is an interesting use case because I bet, I don't know, because it's for paid users, it might be good both in ChatGPT and Google, but ChatGPT is not always great with real time. So if you just made a change today, it might BS you, like give you some answer about your website, but it's the crawler of ChatGPT does not seem as good as Google's, naturally, because Google has been perfecting their crawler forever. If people are not familiar, the way Google learns about your website is it go to any website online, see what that website links to. Some of the links go to their own pages, some of the links go to other websites. If it's to other websites, Google then goes to that website, finds all the links, crawls all those links, and eventually traverses the whole web and knows what's going on the whole web. So that's their crawler software. That's how they know about every page. And Google's crawler is obviously, is going to be the best in the world because it's Google. That's been their whole job, and they've been working for decades on like, how do you get not millions of pages, but trillions of, like, not websites, but pages. How do you know what's on all of them? So their crawler is so robust, and I obviously don't know what's going on inside those companies, but from using ChatGPT, I can kind of almost tell, or it appears as though like their crawler is like way worse. It's fine, like it gets to pages, but a lot later. So it's maybe that they're just, it's not a crawler issue, but it's just the recency. On recent stuff, they don't seem to be as great. They might be on great on recent mainstream things, but not everything. So that's like something that I saw not great with ChatGPT. So if you ask it to go to a website, make sure you're asking Google. Let me catch up with the questions. Yeah. Mohammed asked, do SEO takes less time to rank a website now versus? I would say so. Actually, it's true. Now it takes less time because traditionally, people who would try to sell you SEO services, they would have this amazing line. SEO takes 6 months to work, right? And so then you have to hire them for 6 months, paying them for doing bad work or whatever. And a lot of times, it's like 6 months pass and you're still not ranking because a lot of freelancers online, you don't know this, but like they're super beginner at what they're offering and what they're selling. Like when I created my SEO course, that SEO masterclass that actually many people in this course are taking, not in this course, in this call. One thing that fascinated me, because that course is, I think, number one or number two SEO course on all of Udemy. It's like essentially the course people take. What surprised me was like half of the people in this course were website owners who just wanted to have their website rank higher, but the other half was like freelancers who didn't know anything about SEO but were already selling SEO services. And then literally they were like, hey, I got it, because I'm the instructor in that class. So they were going to me in private messages and they said, hey, I got a client for SEO, but I don't know how to do this thing that they're asking. Can you help me do this thing that they're asking? What do I answer to them? And I'm like, hey, tell them the truth. No. But a lot of freelancers, they're literally just learning the subject matter themselves. Um, so yeah. They used to say SEO takes 6 months, but it's because they're just not good. Today, if you're in the YMYL, right, your money on your life, uh, Google will scrutinize things. But if they see that the content is good and they can tell that the content is good better than humans, it's their job. They have so many algorithms. They can tell, they can read natural language, they can read sentiment, they can read level of sophistication, they can compare that to other similar websites. So they can tell if a content is good better than humans. And if they can tell that the content is good, they will rank you higher. So it's not that they will necessarily take a very long time. It's obviously case by case basis. I can't speak for them, but they will require more quality from you. And as long as you provide that, you should feel good about, like, that's if you're totally with a new website. If you don't have a new website, if you just have a new page is, a couple of weeks. If it's the best page online, a couple of weeks, and you can be second page, first page, and then a couple of weeks after that, maybe first page. It's not unreasonable. Obviously, it depends on the level of competition, because if you try to rank for the most competitive keywords, it take you obviously longer or never because it's competitive. But it's certainly not 6 months. If it takes 6 months, you're doing something wrong. And I think that's the hardest part, is like, okay, what am I doing wrong? You can't figure it out, because if you knew what you were doing wrong, you wouldn't do it. It's a blind spot issue. So a lot of times it's the writing quality, which now is solved by AI writes it for you. A lot of times it's like, sometimes there's just too many such pages that have nothing new to offer, so you don't have a lot of original stuff. The content is new, but not original in ideas. Stuff like that. Could be website errors, like loading slowly or not loading on mobile. So it could be like so many things to troubleshoot, but also good to take advice. If like something you think is, you think I should be ranking for this keyword, but like you're not ranking for it in 2 months, there's no sign. Okay, then it's time to take advice from some SEO person or expert. Like, hey, can you notice anything that maybe is in my blind spot? Because it shouldn't take 6 months now. That's just like a joke, almost. Let me catch up with the comments a little bit. How important do you think will be for ChatGPT? How would you research keywords for Bing? Bing is like Google. Everything people search in Google, people search in Bing. Bing is basically a worse Google, and so I don't even people don't really optimize for Bing. It's not a thing, or Yahoo search. People don't optimize for that because you get that for free with good Google optimization. Um, Now, yeah, so forget Bing because you get it for free. What you really want to optimize for is AI, because that's the thing. Um, and obviously also traditional SEO is not totally dead. The blue links are still there, so you want to optimize for that. And Mohammed asked, most people focus on video consuming, then how how content writing can generate more sales, because most of the people don't read. That's true. Yeah, it is true. And Google, this is a good point. In LLM SEO, there is a theme of it's called, it has a funny word, multimodal search, which is a fancy word for nothing, which basically means multimodal means have videos, pictures, and text. And they like that better because naturally consumers, some consumers like video, some consumers like text. Um, Google is better, and AI is better at reading text. They don't know what's in every video. So if you want to rank, it's through text, traditionally, and I think still for the foreseeable future. Um, Videos, they can also work with videos, and videos do help you, uh, but not everybody can make videos. It's a lot harder. It's not for everyone. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, definitely have videos. I think it's super helpful. Like most marketing is video, but if you want to get the attention of Google and ChatGPT, also don't forget text. And yeah, and balance it on your website. Make sure you have the right usability. A lot of times, like if a page is really important, what I do is I create a video on the very same keyword, same topic, try to make it rank on YouTube, and embed that video in a subsection. So if I say, here's blah 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 blah, and in the next section I'll be like, watch a video about this blah 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 blah. So whether a person who likes to read or a person who likes to watch videos, they have all the content for it. So that way, it's hard to make videos for everything, but for the important stuff that you want to really rank for, I think it's worth creating videos, or at least if you're not planning to create any videos, embed super popular videos on a topic made by somebody else, because then Google will see, oh, like there's good content on this page, because they'll know that that content is super popular. Let me catch up in the comments. There's a lot of reading. I have to having to do a lot of reading. Like, don't make me read. Don't make me work. No, just kidding. I'm still a lot of niche and authority side. I see. Yeah. Many of the people in the groups have stated all their income has been lost in last 3 years. Oh, yeah. Google giving priority to big sites. Well, Google actually used to give more priority to big sites like 10 or 15 years ago. The SEO situation was really dire. Like you would just be screwed. Like there's no way you're gonna rank in Google if you have like I had mobile, like you used my mobile apps. So the mobile apps, I tried to rank for the keyword business plan because that was my keyword and it's a popular keyword. Today, if I tried it, there is a universe where I could rank for it, for that keyword, which is a very lucrative keyword because, well, at least traditionally it was, because people would hire you to write their business plan, or you could sell business planning courses. But today people would just get AI to write their business plan. So I don't know. But there's a universe where I could see the path to ranking in Google for that keyword. But 15 years ago, I'd be like, nah, actually, no way I'm going to rank for that, because I'm going to do a bunch of work writing this content, promoting this content, doing SEO work optimization for this content and never smell even remotely the first 2 pages of Google. So today it's less horrible. Um, um, I wonder also if creating a niche site, like in your question, is different today because maybe there's just more focus on the niche topic, like writing the content more. And I don't know, like it's hard to tell for me because I didn't see those niche sites that lost their traffic. One thing that is happening, I mentioned this earlier in this call, but it's worth chatting again because it's a big issue. People are complaining, like SEO marketers and general website owners, they're complaining that Google is stealing traffic, not ranking them lower, but literally stealing traffic. Because when Google provides AI answers, well, the answer is right there, so the people don't need to click on your website. So you never got the click, never got the website visitor. So there's a huge kind of contentious issue. And Google SEO came out and he said, "Oh, we care about like it's not the number of people visiting because it's like a vanity metric. Don't look at the number of people visiting. Understand that if people do visit your website, they're so much further ahead in the sales funnel because we've educated them with the AI answers, with everything else. So the traffic you do get, which may be a lower number, but they're better engaged, and so they'll be more likely to buy. So yeah, and I kind of partially agree. Like I wouldn't focus on the number of people. I would focus on how much they engage with the website, right? Because hopefully they're more optimal traffic. We can come back to this issue of the niche sites. It's kind of a bigger issue because we can actually look at some websites in real time and see what went wrong. If you actually have an example of a niche site like that, you can post it in the uh, Q&A in the comments, and we can look together. I can share my screen this time. I won't misclick the sharing screen, hopefully. And then Israel asked, "Is that schema?" No, schema is something super complicated. It's like weird HTML code that nobody wanted to learn, and today you almost don't need it because instead of people used to talk about like schema markup and this kind of stuff. Or the other word for schema was structured data. And I mentioned it like an hour ago on this call. Like, so structured data is like a word for schema. It's fancy sounding, confusing sounding, cryptic sounding. And now it's like, it's not structured data. It's how you structure the data on the content on your pages, which is not technical at all. It's basically how you organize your content and make it clear. So hopefully that answers your question, Israel. I had questions here. Aaron says, I think that impression have spiked because of this and traffic is down. Yeah. So impressions, yeah, because like your blue link of your website will be somewhere on the bottom and people never get there because people get their query satisfied by the AI. But again, if your query is so easy to satisfy by AI, that person on your website probably wasn't going to engage. Like they maybe just needed an answer and they would have left anyway. So it's kind of like in marketing, you always want to look at targeting and engagement, not the vanity metric, which is the number. Like, oh, so many visitors. But if people just learning, they're unlikely to get converted. So what is this? If they're just learning, they better just keep learning, and they'll find you maybe when they're more ready. Let me just also read the questions. Many people ask too much question from ChatGPT Gemini. It means that we have to structure the content SEO writing according to the user's intent. Yeah, exactly. According to user's intent, and you can think ahead and foresee the questions people will ask, like the common questions that your customers outside of Google will ask, like, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? Do you specialize in this? Do you specialize in that? and you basically just have to write it out. It's annoying. It's even annoying to tell AI to do all this because it's like a lot of instructions. But it might speed things up if you ask AI to write that content for you. Let me catch up with the comments. Yeah. Let me get some water. I've been talking for like 2 hours and I don't want to lose my voice. How's everybody doing? A lot of people on this call stayed right from the beginning of this call, which is quite a heroic feat because it's been a 2-hour call. So actually I'm going to applaud. Like, if anyone has questions, because I feel like there's a bunch of us on the call, but not everybody is asking stuff, and I'm sure everybody's working on something. So if you feel like you still have some questions, but you want your questions addressed, feel very, very welcome to comment, because this is what it's for. If no one has questions, I'll keep looking at the chat. If no one has questions, I can talk about my cryptocurrency project, which I was kind of got to, but then I got sidetracked and I never really got to it. But maybe it'll be better if people ask questions. Let's think. I have a question, so maybe I'll ask a question of the group, because it's something that I'm thinking through in my project that I'm planning, and I don't honestly know the answer because they're still planning. So let's say I'm going to make the assumption that everybody here is working on something creative, whether it's a business or maybe you have some topics, some projects that are side projects that are creative. Maybe you always wanted to write a book, maybe anything creative. It could be your main work or it can be a side thing. And a lot of times people don't do it because, it's like they don't have the money to do it. And it's like, it takes a lot of effort and time, and people have to do work for money. And the analogy is almost like having an advance for a book. If you have a publisher, they give you some 10 or 20 or $30,000. They say, hey, you don't have to work for 3 months. Here's an advance payment, but at least after 3 months, get me a good book. So what I'm trying to think through is how to launch a cryptocurrency that people can use for fundraising. So here's how it would work. Like this is the details. So let's say if you use Kickstarter, or for creative projects, Patreon. Well, Kickstarter and Patreon, they'll take some fee, 3 to 5% or something like that. So right away, for every dollar you collect, it's already less. But then you're collecting money in dollars, which if you keep them, because of inflation, let's say 5% inflation. I don't know, it changes every year, but let's say it's 5% inflation. Okay, you're out another 5%. So you're already before you even got the money, you kind of out some money. And if you keep the money, it's like, maybe you're down up to 10, maybe you're down up to like 10%, which is a challenge, right? Because you're trying to make this money go far for yourself. So on the flip side, if you invest in cryptocurrency, because the cryptocurrency is measured in dollars, it's an asset. You're protected against the inflation of the dollar. So you're right away not losing the inflation money. But also in cryptocurrency, the transaction fees are potentially minuscule, like 0.3%, as opposed to, a PayPal will charge you 3 to 4 to 5% sometimes even, which is, once it gets to 5%, it's almost theft. It's too aggressive, but that's what you get with dollar transactions. So that's why this project would work in the cryptocurrency space. Also, for early adopters, as a creator of a token, I can send people rewards. Like I can say, like, think of it as almost as a dividend in the stock market world. Like some stocks have dividends. Like, hey, here's 2% of your holding, you can have it. So instead of saving the inflation and the transaction fees, I can actually give people more value by sending them extra tokens. So basically increasing what they own. Let's say they own 100 tokens, I can send them, here's 5 more tokens. So now you have 5% more. So the spread can be as good as 10 to 12 to 15% without doing anything else. That's the difference between using cryptocurrency and traditional dollars or any other currency like euros or something. Now, the problem with cryptocurrency is like a high barrier to adoption. It's confusing to use. And also the problem with cryptocurrency is people are like very skeptical. They're like, what the hell is this? Is this a scam? I don't trust it. So maybe my question is really, when I explain things the way that I just explained things, do you still have that skeptical question in mind, or is it at least partially placated? I'm curious of people's reaction to that explanation, because um, so I'll just kind of wait for people to comment, but and let me know how you feel about it. I'll tell you that when I heard these kind of arguments originally, these are all arguments, by the way. Not all, but regarding inflation is about, people talk about Bitcoin this way, right? Because it protects you against inflation, and if even if Bitcoin doesn't go up in value, it will go up because the dollar goes down, right? Anytime you have an asset, it's like unless it's a depreciating asset, but other than that, anytime you have an asset, it just goes up because dollars go down. So let me quickly read. I have one comment. Dante says, I get it, but usually when I hear crypto, I turn off. Yeah, that's the problem, is people just turn off. Yeah. But I'm interested in what you're doing because I like your work. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So what I'm thinking is to launch this cryptocurrency. Oh, I have one more comment. Hold on. I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency. It seems so complicated. And who do you listen to? I wouldn't know where to start. Yeah, 100%. It's a field where um, there's a lot of people who are incentivized, right? Like they're like, if you have a stake in something, they're not going to be objective. They're going to be like, Bitcoin is the best in the world, or cryptocurrencies, this solves all your problems, helps you lose weight, right? So it's sometimes so complex that it's really hard to judge whether who's telling the truth or not. And I think it's a huge problem in cryptocurrency, which is not helped by, there really are a lot of like make money quick type of personalities in this field, which is, I guess, the idea that um, I'm trying to lay out those arguments of like how, regular currency, dollars or euros or whatever, yen, they all have inflation. So just, lose value. Like if you look at the example this way, like let's say you own a dollar, but I don't know what the current inflation rate, but like, let's say it's 5%. Well, if it's 5% and next year it's 5% and next year it's 5%. So it's kind of a logarithmic exponential curve where it's like you're at 20 years, you're approximating zero or something like that. So this argument is like, this point is kind of really a sad point where you're like, you work so hard for this money, you got to preserve it. And so right away, you got to start thinking, okay, like you got to own assets. And a cryptocurrency is a type of an asset, similar like a stock, a stock is an asset. Things like that. Your house is an asset, so it's one of the assets. It's an asset class. Let me catch up with the comments. The idea is interesting, and I think it can work, but the challenge is always about picking the right network you want to launch. Yeah, but I think by network, do you mean like Ethereum or Solana? I think I'm planning to do Solana because Ethereum, the fees are too high now. Like the gas fees, what they called, are like too high. So it makes it really impractical for a project like mine. But let me read the next thing. Do you have the right model of tokenomics? Yeah, I'm working on my tokenomics now. So I think what I'm going to do in tokenomics, we're going to get it a level deeper into it. So when you launch a token, there's such a thing as tokenomics. Like, I guess what's the equivalent? Like, I guess it's kind of something, a hybrid between a stock and business economics, like just how it works on the inside. So a tokenomics is like, so you can have your initial supply of a token. So like, let's say I make my token. By the way, I have a name for my token that I'm planning. So I'm planning, because it's for creative people, the name I chose is Spark token. SPRK. It's not live, but that's my planning on it. So the Spark token, for example, um, uh, I lost my train of thought because I was so excited about the Spark token. Let me read the comments and it will like bring back my train of thought. Oh, the tokenomics. So the Spark token, right? So you can have an initial supply, let's say, of for a smaller like niche thing, you can have 10 million tokens that you can create, or 100 million tokens that you can create just of the just it's that part is easy. You can go on some there's websites for this and you go and you create it. The problem is this is that 10 million tokens or 100 million tokens all worthless, right? Because it's day one you create them. And how do you make them worth something? There's a few ways. One of the common ways is to provide your own liquidity. So if you think of stock market, there are companies who are third party companies who are market makers. If you have a stock and you want to sell it and there's no buyers, the market makers will buy it. In cryptocurrency, there are no market. There could be, there's some services that offers this, but it's not a common thing. So you need liquidity so that buyers can buy and sellers can sell. So that, because without that, there's no trust and this whole thing doesn't work. And so the creator of the cryptocurrency would provide liquidity, which means I would, put in some tokens. Like I would put in some, let's say just for example, like $10,000 worth of tokens of my own, right? So I would like put in $10,000 worth of something. And so I would have $10,000 worth of liquidity, which would give so there's actually, then it becomes actual value behind that coin, right? Because I put in some actual valuable value, like some maybe $10,000 worth of Solana tokens, which is a cryptocurrency. And so, okay, so now there's $10,000 worth of value, which makes your 100 million tokens each worth, like, I don't want to do the calculation now, but it's something like 0.00001 of a penny of a dollar. Okay, so now at least you have a trading start, and people can buy a whole bunch of tokens for, the cost is 0.0001, and as people buy it, it goes up, and so suddenly you start, trading happens, right? So this is tokenomics. How much liquidity should you have? How much outstanding tokens should you have? Who should provide the liquidity? How do you manage it all? How do you issue more tokens? All this kind of stuff is tokenomics, and all of it has to work well together, because if it doesn't work well together, it's not investable. Like let's say you don't provide a lot of liquidity and you have 100 million shares, but only liquidity for like $100 worth of token, which is nothing. So one buyer can send the token price skyrocketing, and one seller will send it skyrocketing, and all the investors have a heart attack, like, oh, I made $1 million. No, I lost $1 million. But they neither made or lost it. It's just like crazy, what's called slippage or volatility. But even if you're a holder and you're like, ooh, it went up a lot, you don't get to sell it at that price. You get to sell it at the lower price because you're selling. Anyway, so this is tokenomics. Let me catch up with the comments, because I hope I didn't confuse or turn anybody off. By my amazement, not a lot of people left during this whole tokenomics conversation. Because sometimes like YouTube shows me like how many people are on the call. And when people leave, I'm like, is it because of tokenomics? Is it because of the topic? Let me quickly catch up with the comments. Cryptocurrency versus stock, both should be analyzed thoroughly, then decide. Yeah, of course. Liquidity providing through DEX. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm considering a DEX. DEX stands for decentralized exchange. Basically, decentralized in the cryptocurrency world, just for people who are not familiar, just means it's not like one person owning something. It's kind of like a community thing, or there, somebody has to make it, but it's like less owned by one entity. That's the Strategic Marketing International says, hi Alex. Hello, but I don't know your name because it just says Strategic Marketing International. Maybe you could That's what it shows me. I don't know. On YouTube, it's weird because I don't know who is on the call. Jay, hey, what's up, Jay? I don't know who's on the call until people comment. And sometimes people comment and it's like a screen name. Like in this case, it just shows me Strategic Marketing International. Now I'll know it's Jay. But do you have any questions or anything you want to talk about? Or did you join from YouTube or Udemy? Or yeah, because this is kind of me talking about stuff, but it's also a Q&A. So if you want to chime in or ask any questions, feel very welcome. So what was I saying? Yeah, the tokenomics. So it's really hard to get tokenomics right. I'm kind of in the process of I almost planned out everything. But I'm also kind of planning, like, do I really want to do this project? Because it's not like launch a coin and forget it. You got to launch a coin and promote it, which is earlier on this call, I was talking about creating my own AI agent to help me promote it, like do outreach and all this stuff. So I'm kind of excited to like combine all these cool things. Um, oh, hey, from YouTube, Jay saying YouTube just started with affiliate marketing. Cool. Do you have any questions? Did you watch affiliate marketing videos on YouTube and people are like, it's totally passive. All you have to do is put up a landing page, find a product to sell, drive, buy traffic with ads, people will buy, and then you have a passive income and you're sipping pina coladas on the beach. Is this the idea of affiliate marketing that you got uh, from YouTube so far? Yeah, there's more than that, but a lot of people have that misconception. Let me quickly catch up with the comments because sometimes they're a little fast. Brandy, hey Brandy, what's up? Hi, is affiliate marketing days gone unless you're an expert? No, because there's no such thing as expert in affiliate marketing because it's not really rocket science. It's not a hard thing, but in my experience, we talked about this earlier in the call. I actually talk about this every call. Like every call, there's people asking about affiliate marketing, and I'll tell again. Um, so for me, like the way I do affiliate marketing is I don't run ads. I do similar things similar to this call. Now this call is different, but let's say I was able to get 1,000 people listening on this call. Well, that means I built an audience, right? Um, and so you can sell things to an engaged audience that they need. Here, there isn't a clear thing that people need, but like, if maybe you're talking about something specific, maybe they need like, for example, if I talked about how to start an online business and how to get into affiliate marketing, well, I would say like, oh, you need a website. Oh, okay, by the way, like, here's my affiliate link to get a website. Here's my affiliate link to buy a domain name. Here's my affiliate link to um, get WordPress theme. Here's my affiliate link for Replit, which is, the AI agent to um, build your own website with AI from scratch. I'm only repeating that because not everybody was present when we talked about AI agents and building websites from scratch with Replit. So I'm just repeating that for people who just joined recently. So I can sell all these affiliate things, but only after you build an audience, build trust, build engagement, only those, right? But most people online, when they do affiliate marketing, they're like just trying to do it in one day, like put up a landing page, promote some product there, try to buy traffic with ads, hope for the best. The main problem with that is that it's a very heartbreaking scenario that happens like hundreds of thousands of times. People just lose money on ads. They lose money by buying expensive programs, the training programs, and then they don't, because they lose money on ads. Like every experiment, you're paying for the traffic, right? So it's like $1, $10, $10, $100, $300, and by $300 or $600, you're kind of second guessing yourself, and you're thinking like, how much more money am I supposed to lose? Because it's endless, right? You're going to keep losing money until you figure out the formula for the profitable ads, which may never happen for whatever niche or product. And so a lot of people quit, um, probably which is a good thing because they would have just lost money and never found the right formula, which is really the dangerous part of affiliate marketing. So yeah, you have to be a super expert in ads and landing pages and copywriting, and even then it's hard. So I don't recommend that because most people never reach that level of expert, because to reach that level of expert, you have to run a crazy amount of ads and pay for it. So the alternative is what I much prefer, and it's safer, and it's people don't lose their money, which is like first build your traffic, build your audience, and then sell to them, but only sell things that people actually need and want, not because you want to make a buck. And so that it's a super unattractive or far less attractive way to do affiliate marketing. It's way more attractive to be like, I'm going to make money in one day, but I see nothing but heartbreaking stories of people just, people who are like desperately trying to earn a living online, actually setting themselves back by losing money. So that's what I really don't want people to have to get into. Let me quickly catch up with the comments. What do you think is the most? Brandy asks, "What do you think is the most lucrative business online today?" That's a good question. Um, and then other questions: should we focus on SEO and ads to grow a business? I don't love ads just because it's like ads is not the first thing you do. Ads is like once you have a good sales funnel, high conversion, a lot of other stuff, then ads, it makes sense. Let me just catch up with more questions, and then I will answer them. Okay, so I have two questions about what kind of content people like for e-commerce, and then what kind of business is good today. It's a forever question. What online business should I get into today? In the past, it was hard to answer. Now it's almost impossible to answer, because what business is going to be the same in a year that it is now, right? AI is just changing everything, and it's something we talked about on this call, but it's just these kinds of topics come up. I think today it's there is a use case where you can build products in one day with AI. Like we talked about earlier in this call, we talked about this service Replit, which is just build your software, an app or a website or anything else. And so you can build a software like today in 10 minutes, and prototype it in 30 minutes or whatever, right? And sell it. So this is a use case that's available now that wasn't available before, which is good because so many other use cases are dying. Like, for example, if you wanted to make money freelancing online, well, almost all the freelancing services are getting replaced by AI, or largely, not if not completely. Teaching, like even doing this, what we're doing now, like AI can do this better, right? So in the future, who needs me when you can have AI? And so it's crazy how many old online businesses are just like decimated by AI. So at least if you roll with the punches and use AI for your next thing, maybe, maybe that's, but it is really hard question to answer. Um, like, well, and maybe I don't know, like we talked earlier on this call about how to stay on top of all the trends, like go on Twitter, follow all the like tech investors, news, like social media news sites, SEO news sites in cryptocurrency, news sites in virtual reality, augmented reality, AI, so that you're really on top of everything that's happening now. So if you have any ideas, it's not like, should I do this business of yesterday? No, you'll be like at the cutting edge of things, and because you'd be like following all the experts. This is really my strategy. Like a lot of the time I spend on social media, I read experts. It's not fun. It's not like fun like watching funny dog videos, or it's not fun like watching scrolling to Instagram being addicted, but it's a little boring, and a lot of times I don't even want to do it because it's, it's like it's boring, like businessy stuff. But it's fruitful because a lot of times you'll get great insights and direction from people. Now they don't tell you everything, you know, um, like this is the secret to my business, right? Some people don't, they're smart enough to tell you everything, but like they tell you a fair amount where you can like piece things together. Um, so that's yeah. So maybe hopefully that answers your question about like what business to get into. Generally, something forward-looking and really cool and unique and useful is, a recipe for something good. You don't want to be doing like businesses of yesterday. Like I was thinking about this today. Like I studied on Udemy. If not everybody's familiar with Udemy, it's basically like #1 online course website. When I started on Udemy, I was like 2012 or 13. It was the business of tomorrow. Like e-learning was like this hot wave. Like it was great, and I felt smart about myself. I'm like, "Ooh, I found this thing." But today, it's kind of a business of yesterday, right? So it's, like, so I think we got to do what's tomorrow. We always got to be in like the cutting edge and learning. I think is the only way to survive because things are accelerating so fast. Like I was mentioning earlier in this call, like when I go in the real world, like among real people who are not like geeks of like cryptocurrency or AI or whatever, um, they don't even like live in this universe, but there's this tidal wave of like just coming for their jobs, for their like even way of life, because a lot of people are predicting this like really dire situation where imagine if AI takes kills like 60% of jobs, all the Uber drivers, right, replaced by driverless cars in a few years. All the people making software engineers replaced by AI, like 80% of them. All these industries replaced by AI, and then it's going to create crazy poverty. So it's actually like really scary. And then what happens if like 50% of the people are unemployed, can't figure things out, have no money? It's like, this kind of thing causes like, in historically caused like really crazy things, right? Like unrest and even revolts, like, right? If so many people are struggling financially, so some people are going to get super rich, the ones who are like on top of things, doing AI and figuring out use cases that are clever. And most people are just going to be like, well, my job is gone. What's the next one? I guess the thing in the middle is like people learning, okay, my job is gone. I quickly need, what are the skills I need, the new skills of tomorrow. So that kind of thing. But yeah, it's dangerous. Like I myself am very scared about it because like I've been teaching, most of my work has been teaching for the last bunch of years. And I actually like don't know how long it is before AI takes over. Yeah, Dante is super right. I was also thinking about this. Like I think from 2005 to like now, it was like golden age that I don't know if it will repeat. I mean, I'm sure there will be some opportunities, but it was like what a golden age where people can like post Instagram pictures, do TikTok dances, and then make millions of dollars for being silly online. Um, I think you still really need like really, really great experts, like researchers. Like if you're familiar, do you know this guy who's really famous these days? Uh, Andrew Huberman. He's like a Stanford researcher. So like people like him, so like super experts. I think he's the #1 podcast right now. Um, like those people are still super needed as influencers, but most of the like teenager influencers, I'm like that golden age is over, and unlike a lot of the online businesses, that golden age might be over. I don't know. Um, there was one question from Mohammed about what kind of content is good for AI for e-commerce. Let me answer that. For e-commerce, what you really want to do is get your sales pages to rank, right? Because in e-commerce, a lot of people think, oh, I have to write a blog, I have to make content. No, you don't make content. The goal is to, for specifically for selling stuff, You want your sales pages to rank. Now, what to do in the sales pages? In the sales pages, you want to organize the description to be a longer one. Write more about who made this, write more details about the product, because again, AIs are going to pull the details. So write the details in, clearly defined sections in question and answer forms, so that if people are asking, what's the best solution for this? It can pull that from your, not from your from the way you structure your content, not data structure, not structured content, right? As those things mean something else, but just the way that you organize your content. So just add a lot more detail about your product and make it organized in how you lay out the text. And I think that will help a lot in your e-commerce. Let me read the comments. Yeah, Mohammed, probably one market is probably, focus is always like preferable, is not always possible, but it's preferable. Um, and then Dante says AI is cheap now. I'm thinking it will be more expensive in the future. VO3 to I don't know what's VO3. Should I Google it? Let's Google. Google DeepMind. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it could. I mean, for the miracle that it is, it's super cheap. And yeah, 100% unsustainably cheap. Like the amount of server space and the intelligence that they have to, you know. So yeah, it'd probably be more expensive. I would think that so. But then again, ChatGPT, the OpenAI is supposed to be a nonprofit, so I think they're getting their money from elsewhere. But I don't know. Let me ask everybody a question, because a lot of people have stuck here with the whole. We've been here for like 2.5 hours. Who's tired? There's no way to raise your hand on YouTube, but actually, let's explore some emoticons. Nothing too exciting. They're dumb ones. Let's see. Israel saying he's tired. Yeah, ZZZ. Oh, very good. I like that. Clap, clap. High five. Popcorn. Very cool. Oh, popcorn would mean like you're not tired. But I'm losing my voice a little bit, and I should go to sleep because it's 11 p.m. here. But I will do at least one or two of these calls in June. I really like the YouTube format, and I think I like that when I used to do this on Zoom, it was much more interactive because people can talk. Here, because it's harder for people to talk, people engage less. So I think the format of like, I can have a preset thing, a set of things that I like think is interesting for people, and then kind of take Q&A along the way. I think that's a good format, and I also really like that this video will stay. So like if you ever want to rewatch some part, or you missed the beginning, or people who missed this call, they couldn't make it, they can watch it tomorrow. So I really like that part about it. So I'm probably going to do a few of these at least on YouTube and not on Zoom, and then I might come back to Zoom. I don't know. We'll see. So, but let me ask if anybody has questions, any other questions, or any other, like, it's surprising. Like, it always happens when I'm trying to end the call, people join, and then I'm like, well, should I stay? Okay, 5 more minutes. If you are just joining now, we've been here for 2.5 hours. So if you like to read a book and start at the end, or if you like to watch a movie and start at the very end, this is perfect. Um, uh, but if you have any questions about anything, or you're just joining randomly, feel welcome to comment in the chat. It's kind of like I was talking about a lot of things I'm working on now, and things that are interesting in the digital marketing industry and AI and cryptocurrency. But if you have questions about anything else, like affiliate marketing, also feel welcome to ask. I'll stick around a little bit more if I get questions. Um, I'll take some water. I'll look at emojis. And if I don't get questions, I'll say goodnight to everybody. But let's look at what's fun features here. Oh, I got a question. Jules said, "Thank you for your time. Thank you for the heroic act of staying here for 2.5 hours, and thank you also for following me on YouTube, and especially if you're in the courses. By the way, if you joined recently, in the chat up there, somewhere in the chat, I posted as a thank you a free link to my Google, not Google. It's a lot of like Google this, Google that. The goal setting course, just it's kind of a course that can help everybody. But let me quickly. Now I'm getting. I was just thinking, oh, I'm going to go to sleep, and then I got questions. Arfawi Magdis, hey, welcome. I hope I didn't say their name totally wrong, but is asking, is SEO dead with the new Google Update AI? I guess it's not dead, it's changing, because people are always searching. Like, what you're going to do when you need to look at something up? You're going to go to Google, or you're going to go to ChatGPT, or you have some question. You're going to, seek out the pattern, the path for how you seek out will change. Is changing. but as long as the people searching, the people who want to be found, and they'll do, so you have LLM SEO, which is also a link that I posted. I'll post some links to other stuff that I have that we talked about a lot. So this is I have a basic course, but a Replit course. So like if you are interested in the Replit stuff, like how to make an app or website in like under 1 hour, that does it. That's the course. If you're interested in the LLM SEO, I'll post that link there also. These links have discount codes at the end of them, so it discounts the price quite a bit. This is, I generally don't sell on these calls, but it's just only if you're curious. And yeah, so let's see. Let me read more questions. Yeah, so SEO is not dead. Not yet. Social media versus SEO, which target more customers? I mean, it kind of depends on your abilities, right? If you're good in social and you make viral videos, you can do social media. There's a lot of customers everywhere. It's sort of your marketing taste. Like if you're shy, you can do less social media, but you can just, like today, a lot of the videos you watch on Instagram or YouTube, they're totally made by AI. It's just hard to tell. So don't even have to be not shy. You can still be shy and make faceless social media accounts. So I don't know. It's like there's so many ways to go about it now. They all can be very good. It's just you gotta like choose whatever aligns with your interests and aptitudes and what you want to do. Like if you don't want to make videos, don't get into a thing where you make videos. If you're shy, it's something else. Maybe SEO is good for you. If you don't want to sit in front of a computer and be doing boring things, don't do SEO. Let me read more questions. Can I focus on LLM SEO for my WordPress website? By the way, I have no idea about coding. Yeah, you don't need coding at all. Like you need zero coding for LLM SEO. It's not technical. It's just how you write content, really. So that's the great news, because it sounds cryptic and techy, but you don't. Yeah, it's actually technically very, very easy. But who wants to go to sleep? Let me try to find some emojis, and I just pressed the heart, but my heart didn't really come on the screen. I feel like I'm old and like, it taking me like, I stream again. I don't know, honestly. I think likely I have to do a little travel and then I have to busy and then maybe June 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th. I usually post my calls. If you're a student on Udemy, um, I send an announcement, like an email. I'm able to do it. I'm not able to do it to YouTube followers, but I do post on this page. Let me find it. I have like my office hours schedule and I post the next time. So this one. So this page, um, nobody's probably going to save it, but on that page, I usually post when the next time I'm doing office hours. Oh yeah, people are finding the bed emoji, and why am I not finding the bed emoji? Where is that one? I have some weird emojis that I have options. Bed. Anyway, this is like when an older person is like, where is that button? Where is that button? Um, so I want to find that bed emoji, but I can't. So I feel like I'm going to spend the next 2.5 hours looking for this emoji. Yeah. Okay. Next time I found some animals. I'll give everybody a dolphin and that's it. Just because I couldn't find the bed. Um, oh, okay. Oh, wait. But if he writes, oh, in the emojis, you see, this is true. It's because I'm old. Okay. There you go. Thank you for the help. I'm like, where is the button? Where is the button? I'll find it eventually. Um, cool. All right. Let's go to sleep, everybody. Everybody, bed icon. Unless it's morning, wherever you are. And then I'll see everybody next time. Thank you for joining. But by the way, and thank you for if you're a Udemy student, thank you for enrolling in my courses. Um, and thanks for being a part of this. We had like a pretty stable audience where a lot of people just stayed the whole time, like 2 hours and 37 minutes. Which thank you for all this attention. And I guess I'll just stop yapping and I'll press the end stream button, and I'll see everybody next time. Good night.